Hey guys, I am Chris.
Oh, and I'm Eric.
He did
Welcome to Chris and Eric Talk.
first show of 2023. He already forgot his opening line.
Yeah, my bad.
You forgot how to introduce yourself, sir.
It's been at least a month because we didn't do anything in December.
I don't think we did. Well, we did the collaboration with your show,
hmm
but
Yeah, but it wasn't
we
like
didn't
a
do a thing.
yeah.
We didn't do a one-on-one. Chris and Eric just chat about stuff and talk about stuff and do stuff and
And
yeah.
I was just like, man, what happened to my buddy? What what
I'm
what's
still
going
here.
on? How's
I'm
life?
still here. Uh Well, not to get too personal, of course, but things. The holiday season did take a little bit of a toll on my mental health. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm feeling
Same.
better. I'm feeling better. So I'm trying to get back into a schedule of doing things again. So we'll kind of kick this off since this is the first show we're doing in 2023. Let's just start by kind of talking about what our plans are going forward for this year, creatively speaking. You want to go first, buddy?
Creatively speaking, I'll let you go first. I need to think of that. On that, I honestly have
I did
not
kind
thought
of
about
put you on the spot there, so I apologize.
it.
All right. So, I mentioned that I want to launch a solo podcasting channel. The only reason that hasn't happened yet is strictly financial. And so I probably am going to have to push that to February when the next round of patron payments goes through. CKCC Radio is still happening. The dominant program is still Jeff. But in the event that the solo idea doesn't pan out financially, I will just launch my solo show on CKCC Radio and keep it going. I did want to split it to kind of be nicer to the channel and sort of have more content streams coming in, but it might be wiser to just stick with it. So we'll see how that goes. You and I need to get kind of back onto a schedule too, and we're going to kind of work on that.
Yeah.
And then I had considered getting a regular stream started up again. I was doing the Super Nintendo stuff. I took a hiatus from that. I'm going to start doing the streams again, but this time, instead of making the stream the episode, I want to do individual reviews of every game that I play. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start from the beginning, talk about the game, just record the game footage on the stream, not have me on webcam or my little overlay or anything. And I'm going to upload that footage to YouTube with editing and a voiceover and everything. But if you want to watch me do the initial playthroughs of each game, I'll set aside a time each week to actually do it and just sit down and play and try to figure stuff out. And then that way Dan doesn't have to necessarily be there for the actual stream itself. He can be there for the editing process when I actually produce the episode.
Mm.
And other than that, I'm working on the book. The main character's name is Eric, but it's not named after you. Sorry, buddy.
And no offense.
I know. We already talked about that.
Um, Creatively, I really didn't have anything planned for the year. I do know I wanted to especially the last half of last year has been so chaotic with like stuff going on in my life that I really didn't not that I couldn't, it's just it was very difficult to set time aside to do things.
Yes.
That I really want to focus on that. I want to get back to a place where we can do this weekly, you know. I miss Dan too, so I kind of want to do I know we haven't
Yes.
done Nerd Table in forever, so I kind of want to get back to a place where we can do that, and it's kind of like go back to normal, the way that things were. Um, I know you said you had some things that was like taking a toll on your mental health. So did I. Hopefully, it should get better. But everything's looking good so far. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So I want to get back to it. I know this
Yes.
was a Sunday thing. That's why I was just like, oh, okay, we'll just go back to this being a Sunday thing, and then we'll because Dan's not available right now, is he? He's he's doing his
He
own
works at a
thing,
radio
radio thing.
show on Sundays. Yes.
Yep.
So,
So we'll have to get with him and see when he wants to do Nerd Table, if he still wants to do Nerd Table, and then go from there. But
Well, one of the things I really wanted to do with a relaunch was I really wanted to do a weekly podcast with not necessarily set people in mind, but have that ability to rotate people out. So if one of you wasn't available, it's not like we're holding up the show. And if both of you aren't available, then it could be Matt or Rob or the other content creators like Jeff or Adrian could hop on. And I kind of wanted to do like a, not necessarily just nerd culture, but I thought it would be cool if we did like a weekly roundtable kind of recap show and talked about everything that we did that week, everything we're watching, everything we're playing, anything we're reading, all that kind of stuff. And then like I don't want to get into like political type news and everything, but if there is something in entertainment news that we can talk about, sports news, whether it's what just happened with DeMar Hamlin in Buffalo, that's something that I know Rob would have a strong opinion on. So would Dan, because they're the big sports guys.
that was wild. I'm not a big sports guy, and even I know about that.
Yeah, I know it was crazy. I know you're not a big wrestling guy, but obviously WrestleMania season's going to start up right at the end of January with the Royal Rumble. So I know we're going to want to start talking about all that stuff again. We just had the big show in New Japan called Wrestle Kingdom every January 4th. Really easy date to remember, by the way.
January 4th.
Yes. I mean, it's better, it's better than January 6th, but oh, I said I wasn't going to talk about that stuff. Now I'm sorry, but yeah, every January 4th. And then, of course, if you want to watch it live, because people are dedicated enough to do this and they do watch it live, which for us here in America is like 3, 4 in the morning. I give a lot of kudos to that dedication. Yeah, you're just looking around like, huh? Like, what?
3 o'clock in the
What
morning.
is 3 o'clock in the morning? I don't even know what that is.
That doesn't exist. That's a fake time.
Exactly. It does not exist. Oh, I know, not necessarily. I wasn't feeling too good last night. I actually saw 3 a.m. My stomach was bothering me because I don't know. I thought I was getting sick last night.
You too, huh? That's why I'm drinking the orange juice.
Well, mine was the stomach cramp, the weird stomach sensation when you may have a stomach bug, and I'm going, oh God, please tell me I'm not about to run to the bathroom, and then I feel it coming, and I'm like, okay, well,
That's
I've got Pepto and I've got Tums. I'm gonna take that, and I'm just gonna sit here, and
that's the worst. I
yeah,
I know that feeling.
yeah, yeah.
Just laying down in bed and you get that pain and you're just like, if I get up, I'm not going back to sleep.
Hmm.
It's gonna go to like, but do I actually need to go to the bathroom? Or do I stay here and just hope it goes away and risk shitting the bed?
Oh,
Like,
that was not the end I was concerned with.
oh, you're okay. Okay.
Yes, and that's what I was really worried about. Fortunately, I think it was just something I ate didn't sit well, and considering what I did eat, I'm pretty sure I knew what it was. So I just said, okay, let's just take the stomach cooling down stuff, Pepto for the nausea, Tums for the gas. I don't know which one it was, but it seemed to work. And I literally just kind of like sat on the bed for like 30 minutes, just about. Like I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't really. I was kind of surfing social media, but I wasn't really like. And I'm like, okay, I need a distraction, so I finished my rewatch of Dragon Ball Kai, so I'm on Super now, which is what I wanted to do. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put on an episode of Super. It'll distract me because at least I'll be paying attention to that. And when I finished the episode, I realized that it was a good distraction and I wasn't feeling it was still there, but it was going down. I'm like, okay, I think I made the right decision. So I put on another episode. And by the time that one was done, I finally started feeling the tiredness. And I'm like, I think I can actually go to sleep now. So I laid down, I closed my eyes, and I just kind of like it was still sitting there, but I did the if you lay on your left side and you crawl into the fetal position, it's supposed to really help with like stomach and gastrointestinal pain. It actually does work if you do the left side. I don't know why left versus right. I haven't figured
Left
that part out.
side?
Yeah, lay on
Okay.
your left hand side, and then tuck your knees up to your chest as much as you can, and it kind of forces everything through your uh your innards down here. Like just force it and calm it and make it shut up. And then next thing you know, you're sleeping like a baby having horrible nightmares all night, horrible nightmares, and then you wake up and you feel like you've been dead for half a day, and you realize it's only 8 a.m. and you're like, no, hell no, I'm going back to sleep. So
Okay.
it was definitely after 3 a.m. when I fell asleep.
I feel like 3 a.m. is that time where you could go back to sleep and get a few more hours, but you're also on the like, if you work in the morning anyway, you're also on the cuffs of just like, I should probably just call out. Like it's
Yeah,
that in between,
yeah.
it's just like it's
Well,
right there.
fortunately, it was a Saturday night, so.
Oh, then yeah,
But that's
that's
still
bad.
that's
That's
still
even
miserable.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you didn't get a good night's sleep.
Well, fortunately, my job is currently doing what they're calling winter hours, and we don't have to be there until 7 o'clock right now. We've been closing at 5, so that's going to help me get back onto a creative stream type schedule during the week. And I think I may try to focus primarily on recording the SNES footage for the content creation, because I think if I can get the Super Nintendo stuff out, which are going to be like short review type episodes, maybe 3-4 minutes in length at most, that's going to help me get on the ball for doing Chris Ranks the Universe again, which those are going to be longer episodes. But this way I can kind of find my formula for it. Because for Chris Ranks the Universe, I'm going to want the footage of the things I'm going to rank. Well, I've already got that because the first episode's about The Simpsons. I've already got all that footage because I own the whole freaking series. So I have access to all that. So what I'll do is I'll get the Super Mario World, first Super Nintendo game, we'll just use that as the example. I'll record as much Super Mario World footage as I can. I don't necessarily have to beat the game, but I want to make sure I have enough footage to work with. So I'll record as much as I can get through on a couple of days of playthrough until I get like just really bored. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because even a game I love like Zelda: Link to the Past, and I will play the hell out of that game. There's a certain point where I'm not going to just keep playing it after 4 hours. I'm like, geez, all right, I need a break. So I'll revisit this another time. But I'll stream that stuff, and I'll try to maybe keep that focus going, and then that can sort of be my skeleton to get me back into the other stuff. Because now, as you and I found out, Audacity had an update where when you stop talking, it stops recording. And for a voiceover thing, that is friggin' awesome.
Yes, unless you want that silence, in which case it is annoying.
Yes, but it does seem like you can sort of just kind of slow down like that, and it'll keep recording. But
Yeah,
now where I just stopped, it would have stopped.
yeah, it's literally
So,
just hard cuts.
yes. So, um, I'm not. I'll admit I'm not big on the whole concept of New Year's resolutions, but I always make them anyway. Not necessarily as like a braggart thing or anything. I make stuff to just to kind of make a promise to myself to better myself for the year. And this year I really want to focus on launching these creative ventures, put that on a schedule, and by the end of the year I want to have made some sort of money off of something. Even if I literally make $1.
Sounds like you're making an OnlyFans, sir.
Yes. You know, the funny thing is, OnlyFans was created for this type of stuff.
Yeah,
So I've actually considered signing up for it. And people are going to be like, "Oh God, you're posting nudes." No, I'm going to use it for what it was intended to be used for,
yeah,
which is what I'm using YouTube for. What it was intended to be used for: entertainment type content. Like, I went back and I rewatched some of the old classic viral videos from the launch of the internet, specifically the Numa Numa guy. And I watched that clip, the minute and a half of it, where it's just this guy on his webcam, lip syncing a song, to like, the over exaggerated motion and everything. And he became internet famous. And I was reading the comments on the video, and they're like, this is what YouTube was used for. God, I miss content like this. And I agree with that. Don't you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
You remember
There's a
some of the
lot.
you remember
You
some of the
know,
classic viral videos, the Leave Britney Alone kid?
leave Britney alone. Yeah. Under the sheets and everything. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
It
That's
was
what we
about
need.
that. It was about the memes. Remember when Rick Rolling was a thing?
Rick rolling still is a thing. That's the scary part. There's still more Rick rolling that's happening. It is terrifying. Uh, we are recording this episode on Sunday, January the 7th, the 8th. What day is today?
8th.
The 8th.
Today's the 8th.
Okay. So this upcoming Saturday, January the 14th, is the first Three Legacies Wrestling Show of 2023 that I will be a part of. And apparently half of my job is going to be there.
Oh,
So,
really? What are they doing?
they're just coming to watch the show.
Oh, okay.
But we've done 2 shows already, and I've told people to come. And for some reason, this is the one they all agreed to come to. And so, of course, I'm sorry. And this is no disrespect to anybody out there at all. But this comes from doing pro wrestling since 2005. I'm very used to people promising me things and not coming through on them when they say they're going to come to my shows. 80% of the time, really. And if you ask anybody involved with wrestling, that happens a lot. So when people are like, yeah, I'll be there, of course I was kind of like, okay, cool. I hope to see you there, but I'm not expecting it. But now that people have been actively talking about it, oh boy. And hello to Laura Doodle.
I don't see any comments. I'm assuming this is on Twitch.
This is on Twitch, yes, sir.
Okay. I didn't open up Twitch. Hello.
Hello, Laura Doodle. Do you have a question for me and Eric, or would you like Eric to offer you some life advice?
Ooh, life advice.
Eric loves giving out life advice, so if you would like some advice, give Eric a scenario and he will give you unsolicited, unadulterated, uncensored life advice.
When in doubt, pull out.
Damn it.
Yeah, I got Chris. So
she's having a quick think, and then we'll bear with me. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Apparently a new subscriber that Dan gained by streaming Animal Crossing. So
Oh, nice.
yes, I still do, Eric. 2023, I'm still going.
On that, I will have to give it a try again, I guess.
3 years in March, by the way.
The first Animal Crossing messed me up to the point where I just don't want to play it anymore. Like the original Animal Crossing.
Yeah, GameCube.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the hell is this? I don't understand. I just never got into it.
One of my good friends was watching our stream last night when we were playing Mario Party. And she said that watching that stream made her miss the GameCube. And if that's not one of the truest things I've ever heard in my life.
The GameCube was the most underrated system.
You know why? Because it was competing with the original Xbox and the PS2. And the PS2 is like possibly the best game system that was ever created. I mean, it definitely seems to be a lot of people's ultimate favorite.
Yeah.
And then the original Xbox obviously launched a whole new console and threw Microsoft into the ring. We didn't really see that one coming.
I mean, if you really think about it, the reason like the PS2 was so popular. Do you remember Final Fantasy X?
Yes.
And how gorgeous that game looks?
Yes.
It still looks that gorgeous. Like, it's still good.
And we're on 5 now. We're on PlayStation 5.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. It was something about that system that was just such a step above.
Agreed.
Like, you looked at the difference between a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2 is like night and day. But the difference between a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4 game is not that big of a gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now this is something we've talked about before, but I remember because I told you how like I got my Nintendo 64 the Christmas of '96, but I also got Super Mario RPG, and of course I remember being blown away by the Mario 64 graphics and then Ocarina of Time, seeing Zelda in 3D and everything. But now when I go back, I think Super Mario RPG looks like a better game because, as you've pointed out, this is something I'm making this an Eric quote, by the way. Pixelated graphics will never go out of style, and I fully agree with that. That generation of pixelation will never go out of style. As Dan just pointed out, PS2 was also the best and cheapest DVD player at the time.
Oh yeah, that is
That
also
is true.
true.
Yeah, and I got my PS2 because I worked that summer. That was the big thing, was I wanted a PS2, and my that was well, you're old enough to get your first job, so you work this summer, and then you'll have this money that you can do whatever you want with it. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. So I went and I worked at a summer camp, and then when I got my final paycheck for the summer, because we got the two paychecks, my mom convinced me to save the first one. Thanks, Mom. But I was allowed to do whatever I wanted with the second one. And that's when I told that story before, but I went out, I got my PlayStation 2. I bought two games. One was a Star Wars Episode 1 game. I don't remember what it was actually called. I would really have to look that up. And then I bought something. Oh my god, I don't even remember the name of it. It was Red something. It was one of the early PS2 launch titles, but I heard it was good because I just wanted games. But I also wanted DVDs. We didn't own a DVD player at the time. So I got the first DVD player in the house. And my two DVDs, still on the shelf downstairs to this day, were Scary Movie and The Emperor's New Groove,
Nice.
which is a great combination. Okay. From Laura Doodle, I have a great question for you. I finished chemo and breast cancer at the end of 2022. Congratulations, by the way. I'm sure that was very rough. I have 5 weeks until I go back to work. What would you do if you had 5 weeks of freedom after 6 months of restriction? Ooh. Okay. 5 weeks of freedom after 6 months of restriction. I can see how that would feel rough. Just.
Ooh. Oh man.
I mean, I can tell you what I would do with those 5 weeks, but.
One, there'd be a lot of Chinese food. A lot of Chinese food.
Now, is this your advice to her, or is this what you would do?
This is what I would do.
Okay.
This is what I would do. Eat your favorite food every day, right? And just mix it up. Don't like for me, it's Chinese food, but I'm not gonna eat Chinese food every single day. But it's gonna be Chinese food.
You'll be feeling
Pizza,
like I was last night.
burgers, steak. Like every day would be another favorite meal.
Yeah.
For 5 weeks, and then I would whore it up. Like honestly, that's my advice.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that for.
On the whoring it up. Oh man, if I haven't gotten any, I'm gonna get some. That's what I meant. Do you need more elaboration, or do you want to get kicked off Twitch?
No, I don't want to be kicked off YouTube or Twitch. Oh, okay. Well, that's some advice column right there.
I remember. So I remember when I came back from basic training. The very first Coke that I had, not like Coke, but like
we know what you're
Coke.
talking
about. Okay, was so good that it does not matter what you do as long as you enjoy doing what you're doing. You're gonna have a great time.
Well, I think that's the key, right? Is what did you miss out on that you were specifically restricted from doing? Take one of those days and literally just make a list of everything that you didn't get a chance to do that you want to do, and then just start tackling it. I didn't get to travel for the holidays and see family or something like that. Okay. Well, you know what? Find some time in the next 5 weeks and go travel and see family. Maybe you didn't get to go see a movie that you wanted to see. Go see that movie. Like Eric said, when it comes to food or drink, something you were missing out on, consume it and just enjoy it. Like, and, if I were in your shoes, just, being through some of the things I've been through, I would literally just take a day, just one day, and just, what's the way I want to word this? Like,
Treat yourself.
well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Like, go outside and just appreciate everything there is to appreciate about life. Because I've done that before when I've come back from, like, really bad, really, like, down points. And I'm feeling just better about myself. And I'm just feeling better about life. And I'm literally, like I've gone outside. Or I've just, like, driven to a place that I like personally that I think is very beautiful. And I've just kind of just sat there. Not even for, like, a long time. Maybe even just 10 minutes. And just soaked it in. Like, breathed it in, appreciated it. She said one of the things she's doing is getting another tattoo because she missed the ability to do that. There you go. Something you couldn't do, now you can do it. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Yeah, the stuff that you were missing out on. If there's anybody who you weren't able to see because you couldn't be around them, this would be a good time to go see them, to talk to them. Not trying to sound preachy or even depressing, but life is very short. So appreciate those people. And that's kind of circles me back to what I was talking about with things I want to do better in 2023. I was doing some reflections on some of the friends I've severed ties with last year. Some very, very long-term friendships just cut. And my God, some of it sucked, but I'm feeling better about it. And I started realizing, like, who kind of gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, who care? Like, people who actually care about me. And that's what's been really cool about gaming with you guys again. And I've said this a million times, but, don't ever tell me that your gamer friends are not your real friends. Like, yes, obviously I have met our little core gamer group. I've met them all in person. But I've literally met Matt one time, Rob a handful of times when he came around the college, because we weren't in the same department. I just knew him because my friend Bobby worked in the newspaper. So that's how I knew Rob. And then Dan, who I've been podcasting with and since 2013 and who I've known since 2008, I physically met 3 times. So, yeah. But, aw. She said we're very motivational and she's got a few ideas now. I'm glad. If you'd like to share them, you can make that a topic of discussion. We can certainly discuss.
And again, I apologize for being inappropriate, but I'm an inappropriate person.
Yeah, Chris, that's fine.
But I do mean well.
If this is why we're friends, though. Like,
yeah.
I think I had a list on here. I don't know if I'll be able to find it offhand really quickly, but I started listing. Well, I've already listed out the states I've never been to. I started coming up with reasons to visit them and planning trips around it, and that's going to be like a goal for me. Is every year. I don't know how I'm getting close to the big 40. I don't know how many years I got left. That's just an honest thing. If I live to be 80, this could be my halfway point. And I may not make it to 80. Some people don't even make it to 60. So if I'm going to visit all 50 states, I got to come up with a reason to do that, and I need to start actually going and doing that. So I've started coming up with reasons to go to most of them. Unfortunately, I'm still struggling with a few. So this is where I'm going to start turning to you guys. What tips would you give a new streamer? That's a great question. First advice I'm going to give you is the advice that Dan and I are attempting to get back into right now. Come up with a schedule and stick with it. So people always know when you're going to be streaming and announce what you're going to be streaming. You can even say, I don't know yet, I'm going to make it a surprise, but I'll be streaming at this date at this time. That way people always know when to try to look for you. And then make sure your stuff
Just do
is,
it.
yeah,
Just
just do
fucking
it.
do it.
That's exactly it. Like, that's the best advice. Just do it.
But
Just stream.
this is one of my things where I still want to do so many things, but in my head, it's not perfect, so I don't do it, and then I just end up never fucking doing it. So just realize your first stuff is going to be the shittiest stuff, but at least it's stuff and it's out there,
I
right?
don't
Like if
even. I tried to listen to the first podcast I ever did in 2013. I tried. I tried. And I'm like, I don't ever want this to see the light of day.
yeah,
If you heard it when it happened, great, but ugh.
at some point it's going to click where you just you, not that you don't care, but you don't care. Like your content is your content, and the people who are gonna listen to it are gonna listen to it,
Exactly.
and that's pretty much how it goes.
Find your audience, exactly, and make those people your audience, and like, I'm not saying like start a Patreon or anything right away. I wouldn't jump too far into that, but eventually give them a reason to give them content they'd be willing to pay for, and then give them rewards for paying for it. That's something I'm trying to revamp with our patron, is because we have 7 patrons. Those are my people, and I really want to start giving back to them even more so than I do now. So one thing I'm going to do with all the YouTube content is at the end of the videos, I'm going to highlight all the patrons. That's something it's just a really simple, easy thing to do, and that's one way to remind them that this is happening because of them.
You want to know an interesting thing that I found out that I was thinking about doing? I was going to make a YouTube channel about traveling. Hear me out, right? And I was going to make that a little side business.
Okay.
And then whenever I go places, I would record and upload the videos of like the places that I visited. For instance, like if I go to Disney, I would record some Disney trips and stuff like that, and put it up on there, put like a little review. And if I treat it as a side business and I spend money on it, I get to write all that off. It's a tax write off.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to learn how to save money on some of your stuff, you could do that as well. But you're only allowed to lose so much money as a business before they'd be like, is this a business or is this just a hobby?
Yeah, that's true.
Again, not a tax professional. You might want to talk to one about that.
Well, that's one cool thing about driving Uber on the side is anytime I fill up on gas while I'm driving Uber, that's a write-off. That specific gas is a write-off. So, like, I can't just write all my gas off. But
you can if you have a hybrid.
Well, I don't. But I do own my Corolla now.
Oh, you own it?
I bought out the lease. So it's still financed, but it's mine. It's not leased anymore. It's going to be mine.
Nice.
All mine, baby.
Congrats.
All right, so here's what's on her list. Get a tattoo, which we talked about.
All right.
Eric, you have tattoos.
Yes, well, I got the one.
You have a tattoo.
I have a tattoo.
Yes. I want to get my first
I can't
tattoo.
show you because it grows. Yes. This is what I enjoy doing when I'm like with you, Chris. I enjoy making you laugh. And if I can do this on air, fucking perfect.
Just
all right.
Anyway.
What else? What else is on
oh
that
my
list?
God. I want to get my first tattoo at some point. Maybe that'll be a goal I'll do this year, is I'll actually go and get my first tattoo finally.
What would it be?
I designed it myself. It's an outline of the state of New Jersey, my home state. Flying above it is the Irish and Italian flags, my main heritage. I mean, I'm not going to go nuts. I have too much muttness in me. I'd have to fly the German flag, the British flag, the Scottish flag, and probably stuff I don't even know about. So stuff I do know about.
Just put in the UN flag up there.
Right? So the stuff I do know about, I'm definitely at least Italian and Irish. So I'm going to have those flags flying. And then underneath New Jersey, it says EST 1984, the year I was born. and I want it in
Okay.
black, black, not tattoo black. That dark green. That's like the default tattoo ink. I'm gonna pay for the black because I want
You
black.
know you're gonna have to touch that up like every other year, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Eric, yeah, she said you have her sense of humor. Well, that's good because then you're gonna love
Good.
this
Then you
show.
have our sense of humor.
You're gonna love this show. Um, Wants to get a piercing done as well.
Okay.
I do not have
I kind
piercing.
of wanted like my when I was growing up, I wanted my like eyelid pierced, or not eyelid, but like eyebrow.
Eyebrow.
Yeah, eyelid would fucking suck. Anyway,
More power
go
to
get your
you.
eyelid
Yeah, more
pierced.
power to you, buddy. Enjoy losing your sense of vision in that one eye. By the way,
Yeah, for real. Well, I mean, I guess if you didn't have an eye, you could get your eyelid pierced, and not much would happen there. Really freak some people out, though. I
just
mean,
imagine if that's what you do. You don't have an eye. You just get a giant piercing.
oh man,
Get the David Draymond chin piercing, so it's just this giant loop, just like hanging out like this.
people would be freaked out.
Whatever. Then
The
don't stare.
piercing is actually attached to the glass eye that you have.
um, I always wanted to get a piercing too. The only problem was I never figured out where to get anything pierced, so I kind of just decided not to. I always went back and forth between lip or tongue, but that involves a lot of more. That I realized there was too much like personal hygienic maintenance attached to those. Specifically to the tongue, and
And the
also
lip.
and the lip, yeah, but not as much as the tongue. But
Right. The lip, what I would be worried about for the lip is like, and I know you're going to be like, well, how often does this happen? But when it happens, it's going to suck. Somebody punches you, you know, like it's going to fucking suck. Because at that point, not only did they hit that, and that's probably putting some holes in your teeth, but they can get a hold of it and rip. And now you have like a nice big gash in your lip.
I mean, I don't really get into fights with people, Eric. So
Well, yeah, but
that might
nobody
be a
else.
that might be more a you problem than a me problem.
I don't get into fights with people.
No,
But
that's
like
never happened.
it hasn't happened in a long, long time. At least 20 years now.
Okay, fair enough.
Fight free 20 years. Um, but like just the way shit's been going on like on the news and stuff, you never know when you're gonna get robbed or whatever. And it doesn't even have to be a punch. You could just fall. Or somebody opens the door in your face by accident. It's like there's too many things that can happen that can literally catch that thing, and now you have two lips where there should, or three lips where there should only be three
Oh
or
my
two.
god.
I can't count today.
I understand and appreciate what you're saying, but that's also the same logic of I refuse to fly because if something happens, I will die, despite the fact that the statistics of something even happening are so minuscule, and if something does happen, there's still a 96% survival rate in plane crashes. So like you're still you are actually more in danger driving to the airport. You're more in danger going down the stairs with your suitcase.
Yeah, I agree with that. But okay, you have to keep in mind that the accident is more likely to happen with me because one, I ride a motorcycle. Well, not currently, but I have an e-bike, right? So if I fall, that's damage to my face. It's just extra damage to my
Fair
face.
enough. Fair enough. I'm appreciating the logic behind it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She wants to get her nails done. I mean, me too. What color? What color should I get my nails done, Eric?
Black.
Oh, okay, so I'm going to be emo? All right, great.
Yeah. We're already there. We're already dressed in black.
I like black shirts.
Yeah. I also like black shirts.
They make me feel severely less fat.
That is true. When they fit.
When they fit. This is from this was from my sister's family, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So that was a Christmas gift.
I found a few shirts from back when we worked at Inno together. I can't wear them now.
Yeah.
because like literally it like it shows the like this much of my underbelly, and I'm just like, God damn it. Like I need to lose weight.
It's a crop top now.
Basically. Well,
Hey,
it
you
only does that when I reach up, but it's surprisingly how often I have to fucking reach up.
Yeah, well, Winnie the Pooh wears a crop top, so
Well, he doesn't wear pants either.
well,
I should just
just
go around
saying.
without wearing pants.
I mean, that sounds like a life plan actually.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other things. Go on a holiday. We were just talking about that.
Mhm.
Go on a hike, always a good idea. A lot of places by me that are really good, like relaxing. You just kind of go for a walk and just get out into nature and think. And that's something I think I'm going to start trying to do more often. A, for health reasons, because I really do want to. I don't even want to say lose weight per se. I want to get my stamina up, my cardio better. I had a really good exercise regimen going last year, and I got sick, and then I kind of fell off of it, never really caught back up again. Tried a second time, got sick again. Now I'm wondering if there's something that keeps happening when I'm exercising my body too much, if like something happens to my immune system. Because it was the same
No,
type of sickness.
it's your body doesn't understand what's happening. It's one of those things where the more you do it, the less effective or the less feeling of that feeling you'll get. Right?
Right,
Since you're not used to working out, every time you work out, it's gonna suck.
right,
At least until you get that immunity built in.
right.
Then
So I
it's
have
good.
to I have to just suck it up and keep going.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What's the matter, buddy?
Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
God damn it.
We're live, pal.
Well, hold on. Now I'm gonna have audio problems. We're doing this live.
We're doing it live. All right.
Okay, I think I can hear you now. Well, it's fucking dead. All right. So if you hear an echo, I apologize. I tried.
I don't
I'm
hear
gonna
an
charge
echo.
this thing. Let me charge it up now. Actually,
I
where's
don't
it?
hear an echo. You're fine. Do what
Okay.
you do what you're doing. I'll keep talking. She
Okay.
wants to go in a hot tub. That's always good. For my
Whoa, you've never been in a hot tub?
this is stuff she
If
wants stuff she wasn't able to do.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Do not go to a hotel hot tub. Just don't. Go to like I don't know where you're from or whatever they're called in your area.
In
There's
the
like
UK,
country
I'm sure they're called hot tubs because she called
no,
it
no,
one.
no, 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 like the country clubs. Maybe they're called
Oh,
something different. But there I know that there's like these tanning slash like lifestyle clubs type or whatever. Go to one of them and make sure that they don't have the private hot tubs because those are just like nasty sex party things. But if you go to one of those, they actually have like a spa, like hot tubs. You
she
can get
just
the
said, Are you saying like a spa? Was that what you were going for?
it's like a spa. I don't maybe it's called just go to a spa, I guess. Anyway, they have hot
Were
tubs
you
and they
really
got like the
struggling to
hot
come up with the word
stone
spa?
massage things. They over here, I can't. They're like country clubs though, right? Because they have more than just the spas stuff. They got like the tennis courts and they got all those things. Those have always been like the cleanest, in my
Do I
opinion. You could
look like
probably
I
go
go
to.
to a country club, Eric? Do you think I fit the demographic for a country club?
I mean, you're white.
I'm not rich.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm decisively not rich,
But yeah,
so
so you
that's
can
not
go to a
happening.
spa and hopefully they have hot tubs and you can do that. I'm just trying to say avoid the hotel hot tubs. Go to like a spa and do that.
All right. She wants to go to a donkey sanctuary.
A what? Donkey sanctuary?
Donkey sanctuary. They have sanctuaries for certain animals, like they have a wolf sanctuary here in Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Dye your hair. That's something I can say I've never done.
I
Also,
dyed my hair when I had hair.
oh god, the second time you brought that up now.
I mean, it's probably why I don't have hair.
You have to like really dye it excessively to kill it.
Yeah, I'm aware. I
uh,
frosted my tips. Remember when those were when that was a thing? when that was cool in the 90s.
I can't picture you at Frosted Tips.
Dude, I had frosted tips, spiked dog collar, fishnet stockings, and I wore all black. That was the beginning of my high school year.
Were you goth or emo?
Eh, kind of in between. It wasn't until I found God in anime. No, literally, it was like uh junior year, 10th grade, 11th grade when I left. No, it was 10th grade. Midway through 10th grade, when I realized that like next year I would be going to a like a magnet school to learn like architecture and stuff like that, and I didn't want to be treated differently. That I just started wearing normal clothes. By normal clothes, I just stopped wearing the spiked dog collar because I still frosted tipped my hair.
It's funny too how much that almost feels like it shouldn't work. You're wearing all black. You've got fishnet clothing. You have a spiked dog collar, but then you've got basically highlights in your hair. I
Yeah.
feel like you should have dyed it like jet black or something.
Well, no, my hair is already pretty dark, and I just wanted like that.
I know what you were like technically going for, but I think it's just I'm kind of just laughing at that look from back
Oh
in the high
yeah,
school era and how it almost doesn't make sense.
it doesn't.
And Dan
It
just threw in the comments that he slim shaded his hair twice when he was 19, and I can't picture Dan with blonde hair at all.
there you go. We all did some crazy shit.
Yeah, that's. Well, I never dyed my hair. I think I'd considered it once, but the thing is, like I said, I don't like when my hair gets too long because it just becomes annoying for me. I like keeping it very short and very buzzed. And right now my hair was such a mess. I actually put the hat on for the recording because I just didn't want my hair looking like crap.
Mm.
And I don't ever do anything with it other than cut it. So, and then go to New York City with her brother. Always a good time. New York City's 3 hours away from me. Well, I grew up 45 minutes outside New York City, so went all the time. If you have never been, I can certainly tell you some fun places to go and things to do. If you have been before, awesome. I could still tell you some fun things to do, or well, and when it comes to New York City, I can tell you specifically where not to go. And
Central Park.
yeah, Central Park sucks. Don't go to Central Park. And the Glastonbury Festival. That sounds fun. I don't know what that is, but have fun with that. Well, UK's on my bucket list. That's
I do want to go to the UK at some
it's
point.
it's actually UK is number 2 now because it used to be Italy, Japan, UK, and I have now been to Italy. So now it's Japan is number 1, UK is number 2, and Germany is number 3.
I think I just want to go to Tokyo.
Yes.
Um, Mainly, I want to. Oddly enough, I want to see all the vending machines, right? Because they got like vending machines for vending machines. It's fucking wild over there. I just want to see it. I just want to experience it.
Because they sell beer out of vending machines.
Beer out of vending machines, everything out of vending machines. There's nothing you can't get from a vending machine there, apparently. It's just like the thing.
So I was watching this video of somebody who does a kind of a travel blog on YouTube. Uh, Maybe it was on Facebook. I can't remember. When I get into like the laying down in bed and watching like short, like no attention span style videos to just kind of ease myself into sleep, I never remember where I'm watching anything. But you're very welcome, and we'll talk to you soon, and you can watch this on YouTube later. Thank you, Laura Doodle, for hopping in, hanging out with us.
Yes.
If you come back, great. If not, you can watch what you missed on YouTube. CKCC video on YouTube. Subscribe. I'm watching this travel guy, and he was rating those capsule hotels. Now I remember Dan was insistent if we ever took our trip to Japan together that he was like, "Oh, we don't have to get a real hotel room. We'll just stay in one of those capsule hotels." And I'm like, "Oh, I've seen some of those, and I don't think that would be a good idea." But now it looks like if you actually get the right one, they actually do look really friggin' comfortable. Ironically, the one that these guys got in Japan looked awful because they actually got a pretty cheap one in a pretty bad area, and like everybody was smoking and everything looked kind of grungy. And that didn't look pleasant. The really nice one I saw was actually in Mexico. But if you get the right place, and you get like the right type of capsule, first of all, it's quiet as a tomb in there because they actually tell you like once you enter the part where the capsules are to shut up. They give you earplugs and everything, probably because you can probably hear the person above you. But it looks like a pretty cozy little thing. TV in the wall, they got the reading lights and everything, and apparently the mattresses even look like they were pretty damn good. They're like, this thing is really cozy, and this pillow's really nice. It's like, yeah, as long as you find the right place to go.
I
But
mean, if you're going on vacation, right? Like that's all you really need is a bed
right,
and a place to shower, really.
right, and
So,
that would be the thing, yeah. So get yourself your accommodations, and really what I would want to do is, especially to travel internationally, because I don't want to bring too much stuff with me. You know, bring my essentials, a few changes of clothes and everything, and then find a place that's got the in-house laundry, and then do your laundry so you don't have to pack as many clothes.
see, I'm on this team where everybody that I know that travels to places, they pack suitcases up with stuff and they go and they're there for a week or whatever and then they come back and I'm just like, I think you're doing it wrong. I think you bring like 2 days worth of clothes. Now hear me out, right? Even if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be there for a week, you bring 2 days worth of clothes because you're going to be spending money. You're going to be purchasing things there. Buy their
Mm-hmm.
clothes, buy that stuff, bring it home. And now you have mementos and like memories of this trip with you when you come back. You should
Yeah.
be bringing the suitcase with you, but empty.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Except underwear. Bring plenty of underwear.
Well, yeah, obviously. But that's the thing, like, because my small suitcase, which is big enough for me, but it fits in the overhead bin on the plane, and I don't want to check bags because that's how stuff gets lost, especially if you have to do connecting flights. And I don't
Mm.
think I might be able to find a direct flight to Tokyo from like Philly or something, but more than likely I'm gonna fly to like L.A. or Seattle and then get on a plane to Tokyo. So I'd rather just have all my stuff with me so I don't have to worry about checking it. Again, I'm going back to that trip to Europe and the nightmare of the bags getting lost, which really sucked in a foreign country, by the way. Like, that was the absolute worst. So my strategy has always been the same. I pack my suitcase is full of, in this case, it would have my power converters and everything. Like, I'm going to bring my power strip with the converter, plug the converter into the wall, plug my power strip in, and then I can have all my little electronics plugged into my power strip, right?
Mm.
And then I mean, for me personally, I would just need my phone, my iPad. That's basically it. You know, the phone is just there to be the phone. The iPad is more like the portable laptop for me. So that counts as my computer. So yeah, and I have my chargers and everything. So I'm covered there. Maybe I'll bring my Switch, you know, with the. I don't bring like the docking station or anything. I bring the Switch and then I bring the actual charger port for it, and then
Yeah.
I've got a little carrying case for that. So I just fill that with whatever games I think I might play that week, and then good, I'm good to go. And there's my entertainment for the plane and everything. Because I can put TV shows on my iPad and I've got my Nintendo Switch, so I'm good. And I always bring a book, one book. I actually travel with the same book.
It's always the same book.
It is.
Is it the Hitchhiker's Guide?
No, that'd be awesome. It is this right here, The Death of WCW. This has come with me on every. Not this specific book, because this is the 10-year anniversary edition. Before this, it was the original. Till I got this one, then this started traveling with me. This book has come with me on every trip I've ever taken, whether I've flown or even driven. I just bring this book with me.
Why?
Because every time I'd ever been on a plane, when I would fly very frequently in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
that was when the airline I would take was usually JetBlue, and JetBlue didn't allow any electronics in flight, even airplane mode stuff. They were very strict about that stuff for a while. When I was flying, they were. They've laxed on some of those things now. Some of them they even let you do your stuff in airplane mode, even during takeoff now. Like Allegiant lets you do that. So I would always have a book with me. So this would be my entertainment, so I could start reading right away, right? Like everybody else has to put their electronics away, but I've got my book. So during the annoying process of the plane actually getting onto the runway, and you've flown, so you know how annoying that can be.
Mm-hmm.
Delays, depending on if MCO doesn't have its crap together, which it never did. MCO would be
Well,
Orlando International Airport, for those of you keeping track at home.
it wasn't until like a few years ago that I realized that some of the delays were due to alligators not moving out of the way.
Yes, which is hysterical, and that's Florida for you. Like, that's just Florida being Florida. That's still one of my favorite lines that Dan gave me, was when I was on my road trip in October, and I texted him and Glenn that I had started my drive in Charlotte, and I decided to take my first and only break after I crossed the border to Florida, because I'd been driving for 5 hours. So at that point, yes, I was going to have to fill up on gas at that point. As good as my car is on gas mileage, 5 hours without filling up is a long time, especially for all highways. B, 5 hours is a long time to not pee. And I hadn't eaten yet. So I was like, all right, well, time to stop and get some food. And I'll do the whole thing in one stop. And I crossed the border. And I was like, the next major exit that's got food and gas, I'm going to stop. And I did. And I went to a Wendy's, and there was a crackhead outside muttering to himself. And I texted that to Dan and Glenn. I'm like, hey, so I'm stopping, and here's what's happening. And Dan goes, geez, you're 10 minutes into Florida, and Florida's already Florida-ing. Didn't miss it, buddy. Let me tell you.
Like,
Also, it was hot.
yeah, dude.
It was 85 degrees.
I can handle crazy. I mean, and I've lived in Florida for most of my life.
Yes.
But like, I don't think I could handle the heat anymore. I've gotten used to the cold up here, which is weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say that has to be fun for you. The Death of WCW book. Yep, and I would reread this every flight, and it just became.
I thought you were just keeping with you for like a superstitious reason or something.
Well, it kind of became that. Really, it sort of just became like my travel thing. So yeah, so like, cause like what I always bring is I bring the suitcase with all that stuff in it, and then I have a backpack with me, and the backpack has one night's change of clothes, just in case something were to happen to the suitcase, even though it's with me. I still got you know what I mean? I still got the backpack. I can still change my underwear. Right. And then that's where I would keep the electronics, my valuables, things like my passport, and then the book would be in there. And that would all be in the backpack. And the suitcase would literally just be pretty much clothing, toiletries, and stuff you don't have to take out to go through airport security. Because, hate to say it, but you can't drive to Japan, so.
That's true.
I mean, I'm sure you can drive to a boat that'll take you across the Pacific and it'll take you to Japan, but
you can make a car boat at some point.
Yeah, you could.
But that's a long ass trip.
And I'm not saying I wouldn't even be opposed to taking a ship overseas to Japan. It probably would actually be pretty cool. But
a cruise ship to Japan would take forever.
I mean, I guess it depends on where it leaves and which path it takes, because a lot of, like, have you ever actually seen the flight patterns for Japan? It seems daunting to cross the Pacific, but what a lot of them do is they fly in that north pattern arcing, so they're kind of flying over like the Alaskan peninsula and everything, and then they start coming back down when they start crossing like the Russia peninsula. because
Right.
you can't just fly over that much open water without a game plan. Because if something happens to the plane, there has to be a spot to land.
Right. So I think as far as a cruise though, like where would you go? You would have to get on like Hawaii, right? I feel like that's the closest US port
Maybe
unless you
Seattle
were flying somewhere else
or
and then
Alaska.
getting it'd be well, who wants to go to Alaska? Alaska sucks. It's
I
cold.
do. That's on the
That's
list.
that's your list. That's your list.
That's on the
I
list,
want to
man.
get go to Alaska so I can get on a
Well,
cruise boat to Japan.
I want to cover the lower 48 because
Okay.
that shouldn't be too difficult to do. Alaska and Hawaii, there are cruise ships that go from Alaska to Hawaii or Hawaii to Alaska, and I figure that's how I'm going to cover those two states is I will book something like that. That's kind of my game plan for that. But I have a feeling that's going to be the end. So to cover the missing states, let's take Alaska and Hawaii out of the equation. That leaves me with 17 states in the lower 48 I need to visit. So first on the list is Tennessee. That's easy. Go to Nashville.
Okay.
That's an easy one. I've always wanted to go to Nashville. The next state I'm missing is Indiana. I might need your help with that one.
You can visit that on your way to Illinois.
Fair enough. Indiana will probably be a pass-through state.
Oh no! You know what? Gen
Yeah.
Con. There's a Gen Con that happens in Indiana, Indianapolis. I fucking murdered that word. Wow. Anyway, you know what I was talking about. When that happens, that's the best time to go, I guess.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
It's
That.
the capital of Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay. Michigan, that's easy. You.
Yep.
That one's easy. Next state I'm missing is Arkansas.
What's in Arkansas?
I'm
Other
gonna
than
just go.
people?
I'm just gonna
Don't
go
we
with.
know somebody that lives there?
We know somebody who grew up there. Miranda.
All right. Okay, Miranda.
Her main suggestion was the Ozarks. So that works. Iowa's gonna be a drive-through state, more than likely. Wisconsin. I kind of want to go to a football game in Lambeau Field because I want to see the Cheeseheads while there's a blizzard coming down. I just think that would be fun. Hi, Kitty or Kiri. I can't tell.
It's here.
It's Kiri. Hi, Kiri. Aww. Mine are locked out of the room right now.
Oh, she's mad at me. She doesn't like being picked up. She likes jumping on my lap. But if I have to pick her up to put her on my lap, she's upset about it.
That's Lily.
She'll jump
Lily.
off and then jump back on my lap.
Yeah. Lily wants to be on the lap, but God forbid if you actually touch her and pick her up and put her there. Minnesota, that's where Brian lives. I'll go visit him. The Dakotas. North Dakota, I would say I would go visit Fargo. And then South Dakota, I've always wanted to see Mount Rushmore, even though I hear it's not that great. But then again, I heard that about the Grand Canyon, so I still went there. I kind of just want to visit it just to say that I've seen it. That covers my Dakotas. That covers most of the states. Okay, so now we're crossing the Missouri River now. So that leaves me with Oklahoma and Kansas. For those two, I want to go on a storm chasing expedition. And I figure if I book with the right place, if I do like one of those 2-week tours that they do, I might cover a lot of those Midwest states. Because they're going to follow where the storms are, so that would be the... that would probably get Kansas and Oklahoma off the list. Next state would be Utah. I've got a friend that lives in Utah. Already discussed making plans there. This whole region right up here, I've actually got a whole plan for. So the idea is I'm going to fly into Denver. I know I love watching your cats in action. They're so great. Just
yeah. It's weird because like I have my camera over here, right? So I need to look at this so everybody can see me.
Yeah,
but like your actual videos over here.
Yeah.
So I have to like look off to the side, and then I see my cats that are behind me. So it's that okay.
My plan was to fly into Denver. Now I love Colorado. I've already been there a few times, but I was going to fly into Denver, drive out to Utah, drive up through Idaho to visit their state parks, drive through Wyoming to visit Yellowstone, which is a huge. That's my number one bucket list item in America is Yellowstone. And then I was going to finish my trip through Big Sky and Bozeman, Montana, and fly home because there's a flight from Bozeman to Harrisburg. And Harrisburg Airport's 35 minutes from me. So that would cover all those states. And then all that's left is Washington and Oregon, which I think would have to be its own separate trip because there's nothing to do on that part of the state. Everything is over by the coast. So more than likely what I'm going to do is fly into Seattle and out of Portland or vice versa. And that would be like its own trip.
It's a good plan.
And the thing is, I can cover most of these in only 4 or 5 planned trips. So in 4 or 5 years, if I do one a year, I can have everything covered. So Washington and Oregon is 1. Those Rocky Mountain states is 2. Storm chasing trip is 3. All those northern and Midwest states that I talked about would be number 4. That would be because that would be a road trip. I could drive through Ohio, Indiana, through Chicago. I've been to some of these states already, but get out to South Dakota, drive up to North Dakota, drive back through Minnesota, through Wisconsin to take that south back towards Chicago, and then somewhere along the way, drive up into Michigan. And that would cover a ton of states. And then that leaves me with Tennessee and Arkansas, which I could realistically kill off in one trip. But if I have a friend in Texas I've talked about visiting too, and I've actually looked at what that would be like to road trip, and the road trip would actually take me through both of those states. So,
See, I would like to travel and visit all the states, but they need to give me incentive on like why would I want to go there?
well,
Because
that's
like
why I'm coming up with reasons.
yeah, you're actually you have to come up with the reason. They have to come up with the reason. They need to convince me to go. Why should I convince myself to go? Like I understand I'll probably visit Texas because uh, Texas. Um, but like I want to visit California. I
Mm-hmm.
want to visit LA. I want to visit like these big cities like Austin and all these places. So I'll eventually go. But like the other states, step up your game, I guess. I'll go to Ohio because they got Six Flags or not Six Flags, Cedar Point. But like outside of that, you got nothing.
I guess you're just gonna have to start looking up conventions to go to.
I guess, yeah.
You could travel the conventions circuit.
Well, that was the whole reason I mentioned Indianapolis to begin with is because they had a D&D convention there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to that. When they were doing Critical Role, they filmed a live episode there, and they had like a bunch of D&D stuff, and that was pretty cool. And I went.
Nice.
They convinced me to go.
There you
I did
go.
not find a reason. So if there's like events like that, yeah, then I'll definitely go. Like if there's a super car show happening not too far away, but that's the other thing, right? Like depending on how far away it is from me, the more convincing I would need. Like right now, Ohio is like 45 minutes away. So if something cool happens over there, it's 45 minutes away. Yeah, I'll go. But if that same thing were to happen in like Arizona, okay, you need more convincing. I need more
Yes.
than just a little convention.
There you go. Now, one thing that I have had discussions with people before, the goal is to just visit all 50 states, right?
Mhm.
But then the people are like, well, what about like sections of states that you've never been to? Like, okay, I have been to Texas before, but only Dallas. Do I want to go to Austin? Do I want to go to Houston? And I said, or in California, I've only ever been to LA and San Diego. I've never been to Northern California, San Francisco, the Bay Area, stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, would you ever want to visit those parts of those states that you've already been to? And the answer is yes. But to me, the bucket list is to say that I visited them all. So I want to get that done first and then worry about what I've missed out on.
I want to step foot on every continent.
That would be cool. Um,
Antarctica was be like ridiculously hard to do. I
no, no, no,
understand.
no, not necessarily, because you can go on not scientific expeditions. I don't want to say, but you can actually book time officially in Antarctica if you have a reason to go. And if we can get all this stuff to like take off for us here on YouTube and Twitch and everything, we might be able to become what they call
Make a
influencers.
science channel. It's just like,
Influ
all right, well, let's go to Antarctica.
be influenza. Influenza. Yeah, yeah, you're not caught up on Letterkenny, so you don't get that joke, but they were talking about influencers in their town and Gail misheard them as influenza, so she was calling them influenzas.
Oh, I do need to go back and rewatch Letterkenny.
You need to. It's such an easy binge, and the last season 11 just came out, 6 episodes.
Okay, are they still making more?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and you know what? They released it on Christmas Day for the Canadians, and then we in America got it on Boxing Day, the Canadian holiday, which is
that's funny.
such an evil tease. I know, they know what they're doing, jerks. Yeah. So, and you've never left the continent, right?
I never what?
You've never left the continent. You've never left North America,
Correct.
right? Because
I think
you've ever been to South America or Europe?
I'm trying to think. No, no, I've not. I think the furthest south that I've been to is like Puerto Rico.
That's still
Really,
North America.
I know, but I'm just trying to think of like places that we vacationed at, but it's all North America. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's still North America. South America, ironically, is actually the continent I have the least amount of interest of going to.
Well, that's because everything in South America can also fucking kill you. I thought about, hey, you know what? Let's go to like Rio or something. It'd be nice, but they don't fucking like Americans there, and they have snails that can kill you. Snails, killer snails in the
Killer snails.
sand.
I would visit Chile or Argentina. I think those countries are pretty beautiful.
Yeah,
I don't
I'd
really
visit
have I
Colombia.
don't really have interest in what? Say that again.
I'd visit Colombia.
Sure you would. I don't have interest in going to Brazil really. There's nothing about the culture there that really appeals to me and makes me go, I need to go to this country. Um, the Australian continent, I have no interest in actually going to Australia, but I will go to New Zealand. Go to New Zealand in a heartbeat. Do a Lord of the Rings tour.
I find a hard time. Like, I would visit, I guess, Egypt
Yeah.
would be for Africa, and I don't know what like
I would visit Tanzania. That's
what's there.
that's one of the I would either go to Tanzania to actually go out and see the African animals in their like do an actual safari, or go to South Africa and do a safari on a reserve. If you go to Tanzania, you're actually seeing them where they're natively supposed to be, but if you go to South Africa, you'll see them on a more protected environment. Probably safer to go the South African route.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say, yeah.
So,
I don't want to bother animals in their home.
and then to get Asia off the list would be Japan. So, yeah, it's achievable. So, what about Europe? I mean, I've been to Europe, but you haven't. So, what's your where are you looking to go there?
I mean, all over. Honestly, if I'm going to go to Europe, that's the place where I want it to be like an all areas trip.
Like
You
a
know what I
month
mean?
long expedition, and
Like
yeah,
I'd stay. I don't know where I would pick off. Maybe like UK,
mm-hmm.
and then just like visit Spain and go like to Italy and just make that circle, just giant. Check everything off.
Well, to me, Europe has the best collection of individual countries to visit, and I can tell you exactly what's on my list. I'll pull up a what is this? A political map of Europe. Get the hell out of here. I don't want political. Just Google map of Europe. Just give me a map of Europe. It's not that difficult. All right. So, right off the bat, I would say Iceland would be a definite. I'd love to visit Iceland. So it's to be a beautiful country, also statistically the safest country to visit.
Yes. Greenland, because they got those
Greenland
two mixed
is
up. I
North
feel like
America.
Greenland should actually be Iceland, and Iceland should be actually Greenland.
Yes, well, that was a mistake, but um, I want to see the entirety of the UK, Ireland, Scotland, England specifically, Northern Ireland and Wales. Sure, I'd see them too. Um, I have been to France. I do recommend France, by the way. It really was a beautiful country. Spain would be on the list. Portugal, not so much. I wouldn't complain if I went there, but it's not like I'm not. I don't have Portugal like high up on the I must visit this country before I die list. I've been to Belgium. Belgium was nice. I've been to the Netherlands. I told you that. Been to Amsterdam, and I know you would love Amsterdam. Just nod, yeah. Here's
Just
the,
not.
I've said this before, and I'll say it every time it comes up. Amsterdam is a beautiful freaking city. Beautiful city. Like, stop playing with your microphone.
My bad. I called it a scratch or something, so I just like, what is that? It wasn't even a scratch. It was the trademark logo. It looked like a scratch from where I was at.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would spend a lot of time in Europe.
Yeah. Germany, absolutely. Denmark would not be on the hit list, but I wouldn't complain if I ended up there. I really want to visit Norway specifically. See the Northern Lights.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Sweden and Finland aren't necessarily like on that hit list either. Honestly, neither is Poland. Again, wouldn't complain if I went there. I do want to see Austria and I want to see Switzerland. And I do really want to see Luxembourg. I have heard Croatia is a pretty nice country if you go to the right spots there. And Greece just for the history. After that, though, there's not a whole lot that I feel like would be necessary. Like I'm not foaming at the mouth to go to Slovenia or Bosnia or Serbia, or Bulgaria. Maybe Transylvania, that'd be cool. Go to Romania. Not really Moldova, not really feeling that. No disrespect to my coworker, but Belarus is not very high on the list. She's from Belarus. So Lithuania, meh. But there's a good collection of history over there that you can visit. The European countries I have been to are France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, and then I also count Monaco and Vatican City because they are technically considered independent.
I would just hit up everything that while I was there. So
Just go to everything, yeah. Go to Prague, go to Vienna, go to Berlin.
I want to visit. I know this is going to sound really weird, but I heard
Mhm.
Iran is like really, really gorgeous.
I have heard that. The only problem is that it's not a nation friendly to American tourists, so that's going to be the problem with going there.
Yeah.
And that does suck. Cuz there are places in okay, so like quote unquote popular countries, like I said I have no interest in ever going to Brazil. Even though I know that they are culturally significant, China, India don't appeal to me. Like I don't feel like I ever need to visit those countries. Australia, honestly, I feel like I never need to actually go to Australia.
I feel like I'd die if I go to Australia.
Everything there wants you dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything wants you dead. Everything is large and venomous. And it wants to kill you. Hell, even their native freaking animals, like kangaroos, want to kill you.
Kangaroos want to kill you. They have the Tasmanian devil.
On Tasmania.
Yeah.
But that's an island, so you can't avoid that.
But why would you? I feel like Tasmania would be beautiful.
I really want to go to Tahiti.
Tahiti?
Tahiti.
Oh, Tahiti. Okay, I was like, Why? Okay. Tahiti would be nice.
Oh my god. Yes.
Oh God.
That's Eric, ladies and gentlemen.
There's nothing wrong with Haiti. I'm pretty sure Haiti is like very beautiful, but it's just
I have no interest in going to
yeah.
Haiti. Honestly, for the most part, I don't have that much interest in the Caribbean in general. Because the
I
thing
want to
is,
visit Jamaica at some point.
my whole thing is that it is just too easy and touristy to go to those specific locations because they are so convenient. If I want to do a getaway and make it tropical, then send me to Tahiti, somewhere that's far away that a lot of people don't actively go to. That would be friggin' beautiful. They've got those huts that are literally like they're literally like in the sea, so you can just wade out of your house right into the ocean, which I think is so cool.
Until a hurricane happens.
They don't.
I know.
Well, you don't go if they're. It's not like hurricanes aren't predictable. They don't just form out of nowhere.
I don't know. There's some people in Florida who would beg to differ.
You ever see that thing? I've seen this meme on the internet before where it's like when I was a kid, I was convinced that either quicksand or the Bermuda Triangle was going to kill me. And now that I'm an adult, I realize they're really not that big a deal.
Yeah. They really did make quicksand to be a bigger thing than it actually fucking was.
Right? Thanks, Mario 3.
Oh, that was
Falling in quicksand while the sun's trying to kill you.
that's Florida actually.
I love that meme that surfaces every time we get that first heat wave of the year. It's like, remember that level in Mario 3 when the sun's trying to kill you? That's today. That surfaces every time we get that monstrous heat wave where you just want to die. Speaking of which, it still has not snowed here.
Really?
Really? Well, it snowed once, but we haven't gotten any accumulation yet.
We
Just
had a
enough.
little bit, and then it all melted, and now it's like 70 degrees or whatever. That the swings, dude. The temperature swings here are fucking
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, no, we got the we got it here too.
That one storm, it dropped us down from like seriously the day before it was like 40 degrees. Then the next day there was no temperature. It was just zero. So like temperature does not exist. I was like, all right, well that's fair, I guess.
That's a Ron White bit. The temperature on the van said 0, and my wife's like, "Honey, what's the temperature?" And I'm like, "This place don't have one." Yeah, there is no temperature.
Whatever
0.
happened to Ron White?
He's retiring.
Did he?
Ron White and Bill Engvall were both retiring. It said, yeah, the article I saw was two 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 of the blue collar comedy guys are retiring this year, including the funny one. And I'm like, oh, I know which one they're talking about.
Including the funny one.
We all know Ron White was the funniest one out of all 4 of them.
Oh yeah. I like Bill Engvall though. Bill
Bill
was
Engvall,
cool.
Bill Engvall was funny because he had dad humor.
Yeah.
He had a lot of dad humor. He didn't focus. See, like, yeah, Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy focused on the redneck humor. Foxworthy focused on, like, Larry the Cable
Family
Guy.
friendly red
Yeah,
like
he focused on being a redneck. Larry the Cable Guy focused on the being in the trailer park, which there is a difference, by the way, folks. Like, big difference.
sure.
Oh no, there is.
I
So
know.
like I love the thing where people are like, why do people act like rednecks support the like why do people act like rednecks support the police? Like there's nothing faker than acting like you're a redneck and then having like I back the blue. Like if you knew any real rednecks, all they do is mess with the cops, get arrested, and then do it again. Hi, Choppy Girl 12.
Hey, Choppy Girl.
Right now we are talking about the retirement of the blue collar comedy guys, which I don't know if you're familiar with across the pond, but they were big comedians in America. We're talking about the humor between them, and one of them did dad jokes, and then Ron White just did jokes about causing trouble in bars. And
Favorite comedian of all time.
ooh, you ask a good question there. I mean, you're talking about stand up, right?
Yeah,
Specifically stand up.
stand up.
Okay.
Stand up. You know what? You can give me 3, or give me your 5. Give me your top 5.
Okay. No particular order because this is just who I'm coming up with off the top of my head. And yes, I understand that like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy are two of the kings of the stand up comedy, but personal preferences. I will tell you who my number one is, but let me tell you the others that I came up with. Jeff
Okay.
Dunham.
All right.
The puppet thing is funny. It's funnier when you actually break it down and realize that he is having that conversation with himself. He makes you forget that that's all him. I appreciate that. I appreciate that humor. Dave Chappelle, I don't care what anybody says. I don't. You don't have to agree with somebody to be a fan of theirs. I stand by that. I still watch Chris Benoit matches. That doesn't mean I condone what he did. I don't agree with Dave Chappelle, but I still like his humor. I friggin' loved his show. Loved his show. Um, next one that came to mind is Bill Burr. He's friggin' hysterical. Robin Williams.
Yep.
His stand-up routine is legendary. Number one all-time favorite stand-up comedian is George Carlin.
Yes, that's also my number 1.
Yes, George Carlin.
George Carlin is my number 1.
Absolutely.
I do like Tom Segura.
Okay.
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yes.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams is so amazing.
Yep. And Dave Chappelle. So our list was not too far off.
Not too far off, no.
Yeah.
And and I've seen other stand-up comedians before. Some of them in person. I've seen Patton Oswalt and Rich Voss and Patrice O'Neill and Bob Saget all on the same show. This is all on the same show, by the way, because this is Opie and Anthony's Traveling Virus. So it's like, here's Rich Voss, and here's Patton Oswalt, and here's Patrice O'Neill, and here's Frank Caliendo getting booed off the stage because he doesn't know how to do more than 3 impressions. And here's Louis C.K. just being really raunchy, Jim Norton was really raunchy. Louis C.K. turned his back to us because a fight broke out in the stands, and he was like, oh, you're not going to pay attention to me? I'm not going to pay attention to you. So he turned around and did a stand-up to the curtain behind us. It's Stephen Lynch doing his stand-up comedy songs, and Bob Saget just being Bob Saget. What a great show. But I've also seen Craig Ferguson do stand-up live, and he is surprisingly funny. Way funnier.
You know who else is like really funny? Oh, at least I find him funny. Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr's funny. Jimmy
Carr is brutal. He's brutal.
Yes. What about a stand-up comedian that you don't like that people seem to like?
People like?
Yeah. Like I can't say I hate any of these people, but like I never thought Brian Regan was that funny, and I have friends that swear by him. And that's fine. Like that's cool if that's your guy. I just didn't think he was worth the hype when I first heard his routine. I did think Dane Cook was funny the first time I heard him until I realized how much stuff he ripped off. Then that was the end of that.
Carlos Mencia.
Who was that?
Carlos Mencia.
Carlos Mencia was even worse than Dane Cook when it came to ripping off stuff. He was not original at all.
Yeah. He was one, like, I found it funny for a little bit. Then you do find out the truth, and it's like, oh, you have no material.
Yeah.
They still gave you a show.
He capitalized on the success of Dave Chappelle and tried to focus, because Chappelle focused on black humor, he focused on Mexican humor until you find out he's not really Mexican. And, and then along came Gabriel Iglesias, who did it way better, way more authentic and original material, and had his own gimmick. And that was, once Gabriel Iglesias blew up, Mencia was done.
Yeah. Or George Lopez. George Lopez was fucking hilarious.
George Lopez is funny when he does stand-up, but I've tried to watch his show, and I'm like, what happened?
His show, it doesn't translate. His shows, he tries to make it very family-focused because he's a very family-focused person.
Yeah.
But his humor doesn't translate very family-friendly.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't work out.
See, that's what worked out about the other stand-up comedians who got their own shows. Like, Drew Carey had his show, and he translated a lot of that stuff over. He created that office humor, and that worked. He also had a good cast of characters to work with. Tim Allen he had stand-up routines all based on, being a man and everything in the home life and arguing with the wife, and he turned that into a concept for a TV show, but it worked. And he did a lot of that stuff too, and Home Improvement became very successful. I'm sure Roseanne was based on a lot of her stand-up stuff. I'm sure that Ed O'Neill had comedic stuff written in for Married with Children. Seinfeld, perfect example.
Oh yeah, Seinfeld.
Seinfeld was entirely based on Jerry Seinfeld stand-up skits. That's why his cold opens were always stand-up.
I think I need to go back and rewatch Seinfeld. From what I was told, because when I grew up, when I watched it, I was too young to actually understand anything
Mm-hmm.
on what was going on. And I feel like now as an adult, I should probably go back and rewatch it and see if it's as funny as people say it was.
Well, that's the thing about Seinfeld is the whole concept of a show about nothing actually worked. That was the gamble. Was yeah, it's a show about nothing, but it worked because it was about these everyday people and their wacky everyday lives. It was a relatable show.
Like
Maybe not.
Friends.
Friends wasn't relatable at all because you can't relate to these rich entitled morons who have their own reserved seat at a coffee shop. You can't relate to that. Can you relate? I can't relate to that.
I can. I cannot. No.
Exactly. So
I don't go to coffee shops.
I bet you would if they sold Monster Energy drink.
Yes.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
I need to cut back on that. Maybe that should be like a resolution or whatever.
Oh, you don't want your heart to just explode?
No, I do. If I want to go out, I want to go out with a bang.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. So, the 2023 project this year, Eric, is 365 days of TV shows. So let's go over the TV shows that have made the cut so far. We're only I've only done 7 shows thus far, but
Okay.
But I'm sticking to the classics right now. I Love Lucy was the first show.
Okay. Good show. Great show.
Great show. Great show.
I feel like out of all the shows that came out around that time, that one lasted the longest, didn't it? Because it survived the transition from black and white to color.
Yes. Absolutely. Lassie. There was multiple iterations of Lassie, and then there were movies.
Okay show. Okay movie. Not a huge fan of Lassie.
Aw.
I mean, I get it, but like, that's a really fucked up town if that dog's saving everybody.
Timmy fell down the well. Gunsmoke.
Never saw it.
Okay. The Honeymooners.
Excellent show. Excellent show.
My uncles have been to the recreation of the Cramden kitchen. They have a picture there. Yeah. They're huge fans of the show. That was the infamous because that's one of my favorite jokes on Futurama is they think that Ralph Cramden was the first astronaut. Because they're at the theme park on the moon, and Leela's like, "Oh wow, that's how they did it." And Fry's like, "No, they didn't. It was a TV show, and that was just a euphemism for beating his wife." Leave It to Beaver.
I don't remember the show. I remember watching it, but I don't remember the show, if that makes sense.
So, the one thing I remember statistically about Leave It to Beaver is it was historic for being the first TV show to ever show a toilet. I learned that in school.
What? Really?
Yeah, it was. I took a class on pop culture, and that was one of the things that we learned about, like the advent of television and shows that did first. Leave It to Beaver was the first TV show to ever show a toilet.
I wonder why. I wonder why that never happened before.
So, I mean, there was just you had men and women wouldn't sleep in the same bed on TV. Remember, they had the twin beds. They wouldn't show that because it was considered inappropriate.
Sure, I guess.
Bonanza, which even if you've never seen the show, you've heard the theme song.
Yes.
And then the newest show was The Twilight Zone.
Okay, Twilight Zone is good. A lot shorter than I remember it being. Like I remember Twilight Zone, but I thought Twilight Zone was just like a forever series. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
they would
it's had
record it.
recreations. The original series ran for a few seasons, but they've had the only thing with Twilight Zone is you have to there's so many iconic episodes that you kind of forget about a lot of the stuff in between. Like everybody knows about the creature on the wing of the plane, the talking Tina doll, the last man alive who breaks his glasses when he goes to read his books. The doctors are all pigs. The man and the man and the woman are in the toy box or whatever, or the abandoned town, like, or the neighbors fighting when they think there's an Armageddon scenario. Like those are like the more famous Twilight Zone ones. And then you realize there's some really weird, wacky ones in there too that people don't really talk about or think about. So you kind of gotta break those down, yeah. And I will spoil the show that I will post today: The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends,
That's a good show.
which featured Boris and Natasha, and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. So,
And Rocky and Bullwinkle.
and of course Rocky and Bullwinkle. And Choppy Girl 12 says she already failed her New Year's resolution. She wanted to cut down on her drinking. She's already failed, she said.
Well, I mean, YOLO, I guess.
Exactly. Also, it's like really late in the UK, but thank you for joining us. Um so yeah, that's mostly like what I've kind of been looking at and doing and everything. I've got plenty of other stuff that I want to do. But really I just want this year I really just it's going to be a big focus on a lot of this creative stuff because this stuff fuels me, you know? Like this is what I want to do. I want to create content. I want to do creative stuff. I want to do creative things and I want to travel.
I want to break free. I want to ride my bicycle. Sorry. You know who would appreciate that?
Jeff?
Yes.
Jeff is a number one Queen fan. Jeff's daily project is he's posting an artist every day and we're discussing what our favorite song from that artist is. And he's posted some very challenging ones so far because it's not a lot of people that I normally listen to.
Ask him from me. Tell him it's from me.
Okay, he might be watching right now, but okay.
Favorite song from Queen.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's already told me that before.
Really? Okay, well,
but unfortunately, I don't remember. I mean, that shockingly, I don't remember something, but.
Oh, well, I got terrible memory, so it's fine.
Choppy Girl, you want to know who the people are? Okay. I'm gonna go stalk Jeff's Facebook for a minute. I want to break free. I want to break free. Let's see. Let me scroll back to January the 1st. Okay. First artist was Soul Asylum. So I said Misery, and not just for the Clerks reference. Then he had Little River Band, which I know like one song by them.
So it's just the one song.
Just the one song. The Carpenters. Then Gloria Stefan, which other than Conga, I don't really. That's not an artist I'm a fan of either. Soundgarden, that one we can have a discussion about. That's Chris Cornell. A lot of people would pick Black Hole Sun. I personally went with Spoonman. If I had to choose one Soundgarden song. Alice Cooper. That's a tough one because there's Feed My Frankenstein, School's Out, I'm 18, Man Behind the Mask, Welcome to My Nightmare, all good ones. But I went with No More Mr. Nice Guy. I've always loved that one. And then he posted Nicki Minaj, and I couldn't participate in that one. because I don't actually know any of her songs. Unfortunately. He just posted the Cars.
He just posted the Cars.
Yep, that's the artist of the day. The Cars.
Cars 2? Mater?
No, not Lightning McQueen. Oh my god. I actually not surprised Choppy Girl picked Super Bass for her Nicki Minaj song. That does not surprise me. Well, Eric, who's your favorite artist and why is it Linkin Park?
Well, Linkin Park is my favorite band. And they brought me out of a tough time in high school when I wasn't fitting in. And I liked their music.
Mm-hmm.
It was also a big introduction to alternative rock for me. It was them and Incubus, right? So like,
Yeah.
those were like the two bigs.
I still say to this day, Hybrid Theory is the closest thing to a perfect album I've ever heard. It's a perfect
I don't know. There's
album.
so many good songs. Like, if I had to pick a song, hold on. I gotta look this up now.
For Linkin Park? You don't have a favorite Linkin Park song?
I don't want to say the title and seem like an idiot.
Oh, I botch stuff like that all the time. You're not going to sound like an idiot. I promise.
Oh no! Oh no!
What'd you
I'm
come
gonna
up
cry. God damn it! Don't type in Linkin Park tributes.
with? Well, now I'm doing it, so why would you even say that? Now I have to do it.
Paper Cut is good. In the End is good. Crawling is good.
Those are all great.
Literally has to come down to Hybrid Theory.
Yes.
The entire fucking album.
I think in a lot of ways, and I know it's kind of like the standard answer because it is one of their most popular hits, but Jeff summed this up really well, and I agree with him, and I think it probably is my favorite Linkin Park song. In the End is that song you think of when you think of Linkin Park.
Yes, it is. And that's why
and
it
it's
should be
so freaking good. It's such a great song. I just started playing Numb/Encore.
Oh God, Numb.
Numb is
so good too.
great. See, like Hybrid Theory again, like I said, as close as it's going to be to a perfect album. Now, I liked Meteora, but Meteora is not a perfect album because there are skippable tracks on there. I don't personally, but the songs that I do listen to from there, I think are phenomenal. Like, Don't Stay, Somewhere I Belong, Lying From You, Faint, Breaking the Habit, From the Inside, which I think is very underrated, and then, of course, Numb. And Numb is just fantastic. You know what else is a perfect album, in my opinion?
Anything from Disturbed?
No, they don't have, like... I mean, yes, it's my favorite band, but, like... I mean, I could pick albums out of there that I think are fantastic. But this is another album that, top to bottom, is perfect to me. Fallen from Evanescence. Their big hit album. Going Under, Bring Me to Life, Everybody's Fool, My Immortal, Haunted, Tourniquet, Imaginary, Taking Over Me, Hello, My Last Breath, Whisper. Fantastic.
You know who's playing over here? We're getting like on the 21st of January at the casino. We're getting Puddle of Mud and Hinder.
I didn't even know those bands still performed.
Yeah, me either. I heard it on the radio, and I was just like, "What year is this?" like, did they play like in 2010 or something?
Do you remember? it was relatively recently. I mean, it was probably like 5, 6 years ago by this point, but recently enough where like there was a new Blink 182 song, a new Green Day song, and a new Jimmy Eat World song on the radio. And I'm like, what year is this?
Yes.
Like, I had no idea what year it was anymore. I couldn't figure it out.
Like, what is happening?
I don't even
And
know.
then you get these young kids who are like, oh, you ever heard of My Chemical Romance? I'm like, I'm going to punch you in the face. And then the talks of them actually making a new album.
My Chemical Romance. My
Like,
God. Yes, Choppy Girl. What'd she say? Ordinary if fucking peak. Or Ordinary. That's a perfect album. What? Okay. Ordinary? She's trying to give me a perfect album. And I... Is shit. Ordinary is fucking... Is shit. What the... She's probably drinking. Wait, no, she said. Okay, I'm waiting for you to tell me what's a perfect album. You'll think it's shit. Well, what do you think is a perfect album? Ordinary.
what is Ordinary?
By the Stray Kids. Okay. She says, I'll think it's shit. It doesn't... Don't make assumptions like this. Like, just because I've never heard of it doesn't mean there's no chance I would like it. Ordinary. Okay. Stray Kids. Hey, don't worry about what we think of the album. If you think it's perfect, that's what's cool. I like you're like anything by Disturbed. Probably my favorite Disturbed album is 10,000 Fists. I think
Dude,
that's
10,000
their best.
Fists is fire.
I think that's their best top to bottom album, personally. If I had to pick one, that would be the one.
I love Linkin Park and I love Disturbed, but I will say that they're like, it's kind of bad that their best album was their first album. You know what I mean? Like, Disturbed keeps coming out with shit, and it's just like
Their new stuff is good.
great. Yeah, their
Yeah.
new stuff is great. And the new stuff from like Linkin Park was, now looking at it, a message, a cry for fucking help.
I know. Good God.
Holy shit.
2017 was a miserable year. We lost Chester and Cornell in the same year. For music fans like us, like that was misery. Misery Incorporated. She's like, it's not even English. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, no, it's fine. If you think the album's perfect, that's what the discussion is. It's fine. You don't have to apologize. Never apologize for liking stuff. That's the thing, right? Like, if you're a fan of something and that thing brings you happiness, whether it's a movie or a TV show or a video game or a band or a song, like,
Or something that vibrates in your pants. If it makes you happy.
anyway, what the hell were we talking about?
Things that make you happy.
Yeah, good God. Okay. One of my friends has just offered up a suggestion, Eric.
What's up?
We should put a whole life advice section on this channel. You know we're going to do that now.
Okay.
You're going to lead it.
I'll lead it.
Okay.
I'll lead it. Life advice.
We'll do,
you're going to have to send me the questions, though.
Yeah. Well, that's just it.
Okay.
We'll take, or we'll go online and we'll look for, like, other people asking for life advice and we'll respond to them. And they'll never know.
Like the Yahoo Asks.
Yeah.
Except it's just...
It's like a post from 2007 and we're answering it now. Because why not? Because why the hell not? We're getting down towards the last 10 minutes here of our wonderful program. So thank you guys for coming back. Um, maybe Sunday will be the thing, or maybe we'll find another night. Who the hell knows? Like, I don't want to. I don't want to. I kind of want to spend January figuring a lot of this stuff out. What we're gonna do and where we're gonna go. So, as far as this channel goes, like CKCC video and everything, obviously I've got tons of plans. Um, and of course, I want you guys to keep listening to Sick Minds of Matt and Eric on their YouTube channel. They're putting out new stuff all the time. But I think it would be cool if we were able to do something with like you and me and Rob and Matt and Dan and got us together like we did when we did Sick Minds of the Nerd Table as our big Christmas bonus, our kind of our hybrid between us. We were also playing Fall Guys at the time, so we were trying to podcast, but then also like enjoying Matt screaming.
It was literally just the most.
That was one of the most fun episodes I ever did.
Clusterfucked episodes.
But that's what made it fun. That's the thing. Like that's what made it so much fun. Like we need like more cats and it's more everything. Okay, Eric, I'm gonna ask you for some life advice right now.
All right.
All right. Is a subscription to Crunchyroll worth it?
Yes, 1000% yes.
Okay.
And here's why.
Yes, please elaborate on that. I don't be like these other guys where they're just like, yes, do it.
Okay, so you have Funimation, right? And you have all the stuff that's on
Yes.
Funimation, and Funimation by itself is worth it as far as like all the anime that you would watch, because
Okay.
it's got Dragon Ball, it's got Super, it's got like My Hero, it's got all this like great stuff. Now Crunchyroll just bought out Funimation, but they haven't merged the stuff yet. But all the stuff that they have licenses for have been getting transferred over yet. So you still not like you don't have access to Funimation, but
Mhm.
you have their content already.
Okay.
So on top of that, you like they're always putting out new shit, and they got the dub team basically for certain anime, not all of them, but for certain animes, the good ones, a week after they come out, subbed, they're already dubbed.
Okay.
And then you can pick whatever language you want. So,
Right,
like,
right.
honestly,
Well, I was kind of mentioning this the other night. I don't remember if you were still part of the conversation or not, but I had said that was the big thing was I finished Kai and I can't go back and watch the Funimation dub anymore of Dragon Ball Z because it's too cheesy. The dialogue is too fake. The voice acting is very poor when you compare it to how the voice actors got seasoned by the time Kai came around. It's a night and day difference. It's very difficult. So the only way for me to actually go back and re-binge Dragon Ball Z now is I have to watch the subtitled version. But I've seen it so much that I don't mind going back to subtitles.
and subtitles is fine for anime that like for certain anime, but there's certain
Mm-hmm.
anime where the action is so action packed and they're talking while they're fighting that you're just like, motherfucker, I don't want to look at words. I want to look
Yes.
at the action.
That's
And
what's
that's when I
helpful about
prefer
dubs.
dubbed. Yeah.
Let me watch the dub first, get the story down, and now if I do know that there's like a significant difference, then I can go back and watch the subtitled versions.
Well, here's the thing.
Unless it's translated really well. Like Yu Yu Hakusho, I thought that was a really good dub.
Yes. So I think we've learned our lessons from like the early 90s about changing the stories
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So outside of a few words here and there, the content is still the same.
Yes.
So, like, for instance, maybe they said, I'll kill you in the Japanese version. And then for whatever reason, we just translated as, well, like, I'll end you.
Or I'll
It's
destroy you
the
or something.
same shit. You didn't say kill, you know?
Right.
But the message has been translated. And the actors have gotten a lot better too. They're not lazy fucks.
But like Dragon Ball Z, I always go back to what some of my all-time favorite scenes and moments are from that show, right? So we'll talk about Goku first going Super Saiyan. When they redid that in Kai, they did it the way they originally intended it, where his scream is inhuman. He didn't just power up normal. It was a very animalistic roar, and I thought that was a huge impact. They got that right. Dialogue changes. When Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2 for the first time, after Cell
Ooh,
crushes
after
16's
16.
after crushes
Yeah.
16's head, right? They
Hmm.
do that stupid dialogue over the whole part where Gohan's just staring, and he has like a whole inner monologue that was never there in the original translation. And I love that they took that out. That's the type of stuff that ruins it. Trunks killing Frieza. The dialogue is so corny. He's like, you've only got 5 minutes. Oh, but I made dinner plans. Yeah, I heard. I'm canceling your date with Goku. Like, oh, why do you have to do it like that? Especially because when they finally did the real translations with Frieza, he's like so sophisticated, it just works.
You should have seen. Have you watched any of the abridged?
Oh my
Dragon Ball
god, yeah.
abridged? Oh my
Team
god,
Four
so
Star, that
good.
stuff is so great.
Team Four Star is awesome. It's too bad they never made it. They never finished the Buu saga.
Yeah. Well, Kai almost didn't either. But then they did. Although I am glad that they did, because you might as well do all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's why I need to go back and just do subtitled stuff. Or like when Goku first meets Supreme Kai, the way that they exchange their words is completely different. So, good lord, just that stuff drives me nuts. But yeah, we're moving on. So yes, I should get Crunchyroll, and then there's lots of stuff I can catch up on.
Yes. I'm actually watching one right now. I mentioned it the other day, Blue Lock, which is a soccer anime.
Yes. Can
And
I watch Naruto on there?
let me
Or
see
is
if it's actually on there or not.
because and which one am I supposed to watch?
Well, you need to watch both, right? Because Shippuden will make references to things that happen in regular Naruto, but like you're like the fuck if you'd never seen it.
Okay, fair enough. That's actually why I made Dan watch Dragon Ball. Because I think he'll get more out of Z by seeing the original series.
Well, yes, I did because I mean we've talked about it before.
We all saw Z first.
No, I saw Dragon Ball first.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That's why I knew the rules of the Dragon Balls and the wishing. I saw Dragon Ball first, and then I saw what I thought was no more Krillin. So
That was my favorite quote from Dan, by the way, when I got him to watch the show, was he goes, geez, already with the dead Krillin. I'm like, just like stuff that you know if you've never seen it, but you know that Krillin gets killed a lot.
yeah, well, I mean, so the basic rules were basically like you can't wish for the same thing twice.
Right.
If somebody's been dead for over a year, you can't wish them back.
Right. And natural causes you can't erase.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Like, and then obviously the Dragon Balls take time to recharge, so it takes a full year for it to recharge.
A full year. Yep. You get one wish and then they're gone for a full year.
Yeah. So when they're gathering the Dragon Balls and everything like that on Namek, and keep in mind that I already knew that Krillin has already died once. He's already been wished back once. You cannot have repeat wishes.
Right.
And then when he was like, Goku, and then boom,
and then yeah,
it just exploded.
That was great.
Even I'm tearing up now. So I'm just like, holy shit. And then that made the Super Saiyan transformation like a million times better having seen Dragon Ball.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Exactly. I agree. 100%. And that's another reason, like, what that was also significant about Chaosu's sacrifice. And that's why they even said like Roshi, you can't fight because you've already been killed once. We can't risk that. And then of course, but then of course here come the Namekian Dragon Balls. Oh yeah, they can grant as wishes multiple times, but their powers are still limited. You can't just resurrect a whole bunch of people at once. You can only do one at a time, which is fine. That made sense. And then, of course, the Guardians increase their power and everything depending on who the Guardian is, which helped out significantly for the future. The future there, so. They're like, he can only do one at a time. They're like, yeah, we thought that might happen. So we increased their powers. Ah, MacGuffins. Love it. My only other real goal this year is I really just want to, yeah, like I said, I want to watch more stuff I've never seen before, play more games, and explore that creativity, live life kind of, because I don't want to go through a midlife crisis, and I'm terrified I'm going to. But I want to enjoy this time while I can, and
I know I'm gonna go through a midlife crisis, and I'm waiting to see what I'm going to do because I somehow will manage to impress myself at some point. I'm like,
yes,
wow, really did that shit. Okay.
yes, you will. So yeah. So guys, stay tuned to YouTube, CKCC Video. Stay tuned to this Twitch channel, CKCC Online, and you can follow me on all the major socials at Chris O'Mealy. Eric, where can they find
I
you?
don't really have too many things, but like CKCC Radio, CKCC, the channel that he mentioned, and Sick Minds Matt and Eric on YouTube. If you like content with me and Matt.
Indeed.
Other than that,
Well,
shall we say it?
we no we don't say it.
All
You
right.
say
Okay.
it, buddy, because this is your line. But folks,
All right.
I hope everybody has a wonderful 2023. Make it a great year. Be kind to your friends. Keep your loved ones close. Take care of your pets. And
Be excellent to one another.